there can be only one. Until there were 4 sequels made, there's been plans for a reboot, there's been animated series, an anime, and a comic book. But outside of that, there can be only one version of Highlander. So yeah, that statement might be a little bit wrong. So yeah, there have been a lot of sequels to this movie, and also a lot of other versions of it, but we're going to be looking at the very original version of it today. So yeah, let's get into it. So when it comes down to this movie's story, it doesn't really go in a chronological order. They keep on going back and forth between different times, and yeah, because of that, we're going to be talking about the story a little bit differently here. We're just going to be going in the complete chronological order. So let's start off with something that has nothing to do with the story, the opening credits. Why am I going to be talking about the opening credits here? Because of the music playing during it. Yeah, I know I never really talk about the score to movies, but this is the one that I feel like I really should. Why? Because the score is all done by Queen. Just to make this movie even more awesome. Yeah, I love Queen's music already, and their soundtrack for this was really great. My personal favorite out of all the songs is the one used in the opening credits, Princess of the Universe. Why? Because it was freaking awesome, and I wish that they'd used it more than just the opening credits. So then after that, we get some boring text being narrated to us, and I didn't really listen to it or read it or anything. I just didn't really care. I'm sure it had something to do with immortality and was important to the story in the long run, but yeah, I really just didn't care. So yeah, I did not care about that, and now we're actually gonna go in chronological order here. So the movie does not start off here, but yeah, what happens pretty much is Connor is the leader of a clan, Macleod. Yes, Connor Macleod, the clan Macleod. That's not a tongue twister at all. And yeah, him and his whole entire clan go into battle, they win, and then they go home and celebrate. Then they go back to another battle where they're fighting Kieran. Why? Because he was just there. So yeah, they're gonna fight this guy, and I don't really know who wins this battle. Just somebody did. Just a fight happens, Connor is stabbed and killed, and that's it. That's all we get to see. So yeah, then we find out that Connor died, never knowing who really won that battle, because we clearly didn't need to know that. Kieran is a conqueror and a barbarian. Why didn't they show if he won this? I feel like that's something that they just sort of gloss over, but yeah, anyway, Connor has died, and then he comes back a few days later, and everyone's saying that he has the devil in him, so they decided the very logical idea is to beat it out of him. Yeah, that's a nice way to treat a friend. So yeah, they try beating the devil out of him, but one of Connor's friends decides to help him out and just sort of banishes him. And then cut to 5 years later, because clearly we did not want to see what happened in between that time. So yeah, Connor is now remarried to a girl named Heather, who I actually really do like here, and they have a very good relationship. And yeah, everything's sort of going great for them. Although things do get a little bit ruined when a guy named Sean Connery comes in, and yeah, he just sort of says, hey, Connor, you're an immortal. Connor doesn't believe him about that, of course, and then he just sort of pushes him into the river. And Connor can't swim, and he just sort of falls down under, and he finds out, hey, I can breathe down here. I guess he's right, I am an immortal. Cool. So they start training for that, and he starts learning the rules about being an immortal, because being an immortal comes with rules somehow. Yeah, they never explain how these rules are actually learnt. Do they get a rule book whenever they die for the first time and come back? Who gives them this rule book? How do they know when to give them the rule book? If they even do that? Or do they just automatically know the rules? And for some odd reason, Connor was left out both of these options. Why do they obey these rules? Especially someone like Kieran, who really has no reason to obey them at all, seeing as he just really seems like a guy who wouldn't do that. But yeah, he obeys them for no real reason at all. But yeah, I guess that there are rules, and the mortals just sort of follow by a code of honor and follow the rules for no real reason. And they were just learned at one point. Like, did the very first immortal just decide, oh wow, I can come back to life, let me write down rules for this? Like, is that what immediately happened? Like, I really want to know how these rules came about. But yeah, off of the rules subject, Connor starts to learn some of them. Like, there are some places that no immortals can harm each other, like churches, because I don't know. I guess that they just respect churches for some reason. And also, they gotta wait till a gathering to fight each other. Why do they have to fight each other in the first place? Because there can be only one. Why can there be only one? Never explained. There can just be only one, and these rules should never be questioned ever. Well, too bad. I'm gonna question them. So, yeah, these rules are really confusing to me. Like, how do they come about? Why do they come about? Why do all the immortals follow them? And why are some of the rules really kind of pointless? Like, why can they attack each other in a church? Why do they have to wait till a gathering? Why can the only thing that kill an immortal is cutting off their head? They're immortal. Yeah, there are so many confusing things about this. Also, can a non-immortal kill an immortal by cutting off their head? That's never answered. Just don't question it. Again, just don't question any of this. So, yeah, Connor is being told by Sean Connery, don't remember his name still. I mean, like, I have it written down, but it's a weird name. I don't know how to pronounce it for some reason. But yeah, Connor is being told by Sean Connery that he should break up with Heather because, yeah, he's gonna live on forever and Heather's gonna die eventually. But Connor is pretty stubborn and won't do that. So Sean Connery goes to talk to Heather, and then Kieran attacks, and Sean Connery is killed. Unfortunate. And then Kieran rapes Heather. Okay, that got dark. No, they never even show this. It just happens. It's really kind of weird to put in. I mean, yeah, okay, it gives Connor more of a personal reason for wanting to kill Kieran, but that's really it. And he was gonna kill Kieran anyway. Why did they need to make this more personal? But yeah, that was pretty messed up. So then Connor and Heather reunite. They live out their lives together, and this is actually a really sad scene. I really do love how this scene was done. This sort of separates this movie from other action movies of the time, as, yeah, there were a lot of other action movies that did have a heart aspect to them, but this one, I feel like it just sort of got it done in like 5 minutes and really did explain a lot about the character of Connor Macleod. I just really liked how this was done here, and the song Who Wants to Live Forever really does help incorporate that aspect. So yeah, I really liked the scene, and it's sad. And then Heather dies. Like I said, the scene was sad. So then cut to a war. I really forget which war the Nazis were in. Was it World War II? I'm pretty sure it was. I don't know. I'm not good with history. So yeah, there is a war going on. I'm sorry, I'm an idiot who doesn't remember, and I'm pretty sure they're Nazis. I don't know. But yeah, I'm pretty sure this is World War II. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not good with history. I am very sorry about that. And Connor is now fighting Nazis and protecting a little girl named Rachel. Why is he fighting Nazis? Because he's awesome. So, yeah. And then he shoots up a Nazi because he's awesome. And then he just decides to sort of raise this girl Rachel because he found her. So why not raise her? And then now we are in modern day, where Connor is at a boxing match. Why? Does he just really enjoy boxing? He doesn't really seem to. He just sort of leaves in the middle of the match, so I guess he doesn't like boxing that much, so why was he here? But yeah, then he meets up with one of the immortals outside, and they fight for a little bit, and he cuts off his head, which was really easy to do, apparently. It only required one swipe, and then head completely off. Yeah, that's not how that would work. That would take a few swipes there, but sure. Yeah, okay. I mean, I guess that I can sort of see that as, yeah, his sword also can cut through concrete. So you might just be able to say, well, his sword is really strong, so it cut through the bone really easily. But, yeah, I'm still calling this out because, yeah, that really shouldn't be how this works. His sword is an adamantium. That's not how swords work. They can't just very easily cut through someone's head and their bone. It's not easy. But yeah, apparently it is for Connor. I mean, yeah, okay, he has been doing this for a long time, but still, I'm gonna keep on calling this out. And then there's sort of an investigation into this, and Connor's a prime suspect, but after he just says, I don't know who this guy is, they just sort of let him out. But one of the forensic scientists, Brenda, yeah, her name is Brenda. I'm sorry, I'm forgetting a lot of characters' names in this. I'm sorry, but yeah, Brenda sort of meets up with Connor, and she decides, well, okay, I'm gonna sort of start following this guy around. Why? Because I'm creepy. Although it's alright because Connor was following her around. You just know they're gonna get together, the two creepy stalkers, who also have an interest in antique swords. They're just perfect for one another. And then Connor meets up with Kieran, who, after hearing about the decapitation on the radio, decided to go get a hotel room, kill some hooker because that was very needed, or at least I assume that's what he did. Either that or he did just have sex with her and built a sword and was sort of swinging it around for no reason. Although I do just really assume that he killed her, but yeah, there really wouldn't be any point to that, I guess. And then him and Connor fight for a little bit until it's broken up by the police. And then Brenda continues her investigation into Connor, and then we also see that Connor's a pretty successful guy right now. He's got a lot of good antiques. Him and Rachel are doing well, because I guess they sort of like her father and everything. And yeah, everything seems to be going alright. The only minor issue is that the gathering's happening. So then Connor meets up with one of his old buddies, who is also an immortal, and then that guy dies before we even get to learn his name. Or at least, I mean, they do say his name, but I just didn't care to learn it. So yeah, that guy died. Sad. I feel like I barely knew him. Oh wait, I did, because he was barely in this movie. And so yeah, he's dead. Bummer. And then Kieran starts to get more public as, yeah, he sort of killed this guy in a completely random alley where a lot of people were around. So yeah, that was very smart of him. And then he just sort of kills this one Marine guy because that guy saw him and was going to shoot at him. This was clearly a needed kill. Okay, well, yeah, alright, so he doesn't actually kill the guy, but I don't really get why he doesn't do that. I mean, wouldn't he want to cover his tracks here? I mean, yeah, okay, I guess a lot of other people did see him, but still, you can still cover your tracks better. And this guy never comes back. This Marine just has one scene where he's talking to the police about who he saw, and that's it. Well, that was needed. So, yeah, after that, then Kieran and Macleod start facing off in a church, and then Connor and Brenda have sex because she finds out that he's immortal. The obvious reason to have sex. And then Kieran decides to kidnap Brenda, and then it's the big, long climax. Now, this is really where I think that an opinion on this movie could differ, as this climax does go on for quite some time. Now, yes, it is a very good ending fight, and I really did enjoy it. It's just that it goes on for a long time, and that's, to me, kind of made a bit boring as it continued on for so long, but it is still a really good fight with a lot of great effects, so I kind of love and hate this scene. So, yeah, although I do think that could have been a whole lot shorter than it actually was, but it is still a very good scene. And eventually this fight ends with Connor, of course, decapitating Kieran, and now Connor is the winner. So what is the prize that they've been building up to this whole time? Hearing everyone's thoughts and having light demon hand-drawn things flying around you, and then zoom ins on your eye as a model of your head explodes and then you fall down. And I guess you're mortal. That was... What was the prize? Like, what was the prize of this? Really, what was the prize? I want to know. What the heck happened? And they just say all of a sudden, you can have kids now, and also, you can now die as a mortal, Connor. So what is that? Why? Why can he do that now? Why can he hear everyone's thoughts? Why is that included in the prize? What was even the point of having immortals fight if you're just gonna give them the mortality back when they die? When one of them comes out as a victor, it makes no sense. But yeah, it is still pretty cool ending scene, so I guess I shouldn't question it. And then Connor and Brenda go, and they are living their lives happily. And then sequels that I never saw happened. So yeah, that is Highlander, and it's a pretty solid movie. Now, not only does this film have some heart to it, which actually is something that I really do appreciate, as it does separate it from some other action movies that could have been pretty similar to this one, but this one does have an added bonus to it with actually having some more emotional scenes in there. Although there are some pointless stuff, like that one Marine guy. Did we need him? Kieran raping Heather, was that needed at all? Connor's girlfriend from the past before he met Heather, who was she? Was she needed? I guess a little, as she was sad when he died, but that's really it. Connor's one friend that decided to help him out, he never comes back. What was the point of him? So yeah, there are quite a few pointless scenes like that, but outside of that, it is actually a pretty solid movie. The action is really well done here, and while yeah, I do think that some of it does drag on a little bit, especially at the end, it is still very well done, and I do really like it. And it does also have a pretty interesting story to it. So yeah, really, I do like the story of this movie. Even though it does have some flaws to it, and yeah, it can be kind of boring at times, I do still really like how it was done. And it also has an awesome soundtrack, so can't really hate it there. So for this story overall, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10, because even though it's not the best, I do think that it was done very well. And I do very much enjoy its execution. It's just that at some points it did become a bit slow to me, and there were some scenes I don't really feel like were needed. Especially that one where Connor is drunk and just sort of getting stabbed a lot. I get that it was in there for more comedic purposes, to try and make the movie a little bit more lighthearted, but still, why? Why was that there? What was the point of that? I really want to know. But yeah, outside of that, I do think that this was a really solid story, and it was executed very well. So now let's get into the characters. So for the characters, let's start off with the main one, Connor Macleod of the clan Macleod. I love saying that. Or Russell Nash, whichever name you want to actually call him by. I just prefer calling him Connor Macleod of the clan Macleod because that's more fun to say. So, yeah. He's a pretty likable character. I really don't have anything against him, and he's also played by the God of Useless. Reference to Mortal Comedy. I'm sure that everyone understood that reference. No, it didn't. So, yeah, he's also played by the same guy who played Raiden in Mortal Kombat, and I actually do really like this actor. He's got a lot of character added to every single role that I've seen him in. He's just a really likable actor and character in this, and I just really enjoyed him. Although, the only real problem I actually had with him is his accent, as that did make it a little bit hard to hear him sometimes, as it's a really thick accent, and I can't really pin down what type of accent it is. But yeah, at least the movie addresses that, so that's something. And yeah, actually I do really like Connor here. He's got a lot of emotion to him as well. So he's not just sort of the bland hero. He also does have an emotional center, and you can see how living this long has taken a toll on him. I do really enjoy him here, and he's a lot of fun. And then we have Brenda, who, honestly, the main reason why I forgot how to say her name earlier is because I really just didn't care about her here. There are some moments where she does show a lot more personality, and yeah, I don't really hate her or anything, it's just that I found her kind of bland here. There's no real character add to her, and yeah, I feel like that's kind of what weighed her down a little bit. There are some moments where she does have more of a character, like when she's at the police station as a pretty cool forensic scientist, or when we do actually see her complete interest in the history of swords, which is awesome. So yeah, there are some moments like that where she does have more of a character to her, but yeah, outside of that, I just sort of found her to be kind of boring here. Nothing against her, it's just that I didn't get really all that interested in her. Then we have Kieran, who is really a mixed bag to me, because on the one hand, he's a lot of fun in this movie, although on the other, it takes a while for me to actually find him as fun as I did. Mainly because when we're first seeing him, he's just sort of messing around with a sword, driving around in a car, and not really saying all that much or doing anything that really made him stand out. Although it's really until the church scene where he does actually really develop a fun character. Now, this is a character that I just love to hate. He is a terrible person, but he is so much fun to watch. And yeah, the actor who's playing him is having a lot of fun in this role, or at least I'm pretty sure that he is. If he isn't, then he does a good job covering it up. So yeah, I had a lot of fun with Kieran. Although the one thing that I didn't really like about him, outside of that takes a little bit for a character to fully be developed, is that his eyes were really big. I don't even think that the actor actually had that big eyes. It's just, like, did they put contacts in? If so, why? What was the point of that? It just sort of looked really weird watching him like that. And I don't even think that he had them on throughout the whole movie. It was weird. It's very, very weird. Like, I'm pretty sure the actor doesn't even have eyes like that, so it's really pretty weird. But yeah, outside of that, and the fact that it does take a little bit for an actual personality to be developed with him, he is still a very likable character, and he's a lot of fun. Okay, well, he's not actually likable, he's a love to hate, but he's fun. So, in a way, I kind of like him. Then we have Sean Connery, and he is not in this movie that much, but I do still like him here. He is a very likable character, and there is actually some tragedy to his character a little bit, especially when we do hear about his wife. I really did like some moments with that, and yeah, he is actually a pretty cool character, and yeah, for the one who trains Connor, and he's also a really great fighter, so I really did enjoy him here. It's just that he's not in it that much, but I do still like him. Then we have Heather. I've already sort of said my thoughts on her, as I really did enjoy her in this movie, but yeah, I guess I can expand on that a little bit more. She's very likable. I really don't have anything against Heather here. She's just a very likable character, and one that I really enjoyed watching. She was just really fun, and I really actually do kind of like how tough she was at some points, as yeah, she was just raped by a guy who just decapitated a guy in front of her and yet she never told her husband about this. Instead, she just toughened up and just went along with her life with that. I just really liked her in some moments like that. And yeah, she was very enjoyable and a very nice character. I really did enjoy Heather here. Also, she's now like Connor's first girlfriend who just decided, oh well, if my husband comes back to life, then I hate him immediately. He must die. Instead, Heather was pretty cool with this information. So yeah, I enjoyed Heather. And then we have Rachel. She's not really in this movie that much, which is kind of disappointing, as I feel like there could have been more done with her here, but she is still pretty likable for what she is in, and I do like her history with Connor. It's really what made her more of an interesting character than just sort of a bland side one, and yeah, I just really enjoyed her. Even though she's not in it that much, but yeah, she is still pretty likable here. So, for the characters, I'm gonna give them a 9 out of 10, because even though they're not the best all the time, and some of them aren't all that great and take a little bit of time to develop, or just aren't in it that much, I do still really enjoy these characters. They're very likable, even if you do just love to hate them, and I really just enjoyed watching a lot of them. The only one that I really couldn't fully get into was Brenda, mainly because I just sort of found her boring, but that's really the only one that I couldn't fully get into here. So yeah, I really enjoyed the characters in this. So for this movie overall, it's a lot of fun. Now, yeah, it's not just fun. There is a lot of emotional aspects to it, but it is still a very enjoyable movie, and one that I definitely recommend checking out. Connor is a very fun main character to follow, as are all the others, unless they're kind of boring. But other than that, it also has an awesome soundtrack, really great fight scenes, even though some of them are shot kind of odd. Like, the one at the very end of the movie, it's like shot from really far away, and there's no real music to it, just sort of guys hitting swords against one another, which is cool, but why wasn't there that much music or anything making that seem cooler, and why was it shot from so far away at times? It was really kind of weird there, but yeah, this movie is still very awesome. It has great action to it, and a really good soundtrack, and pretty likable characters here, even though I don't really like the fact that it doesn't really go in a chronological order, because I'm a sucker for chronological order and storytelling. I do really like how it was done. The execution is very good for something that could have just been a bland action movie, but I do really like how they put a lot of effort into it. So for this movie overall, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10, because while it's not the best movie, but it is still a very enjoyable one with a lot more heart than it really could have had. It really could have just been a kind of bland action movie, but instead they put a lot of effort into it, and it really does pay off. So yeah, this movie was very enjoyable, and one that I really do recommend checking out, even though I kind of spoiled everything that happened in it. But yeah, definitely do check this movie out if you haven't already. It's a really good movie. So yeah, that's pretty much it for Highlander, and next week we'll be looking at Arrested Development. Yeah, I know the show is not technically over, but yeah, I'm gonna look at it anyway. Also, I have a dog named after this movie, and this is him. Hey, Highlander. He's kind of an idiot, as he's walking on a table now, but yeah, I named him after the movie. This has nothing to do with anything, really, outside just showing that I'm a nerd who names animals after a movie. I wanted to call him Connor Macleod, but Highlander stuck better. Didn't it, boy? You want to end the video? Gotta end the video amazingly? Or you'll just look at something. Okay, I guess that works too. You're a good boy.